Hi everybody, it's Julie. Welcome to another episode of Flower Friday. Today we are going to be making these pretty little roses. These are made out of the petals that you can buy pretty much anywhere now. I got these at Michael's for $2.99, an entire box of them, but they were on clearance, so not really sure why they were on clearance, but they were, and they work fine for this. What you're going to need are the actual petals. Mine came with tool petals too, but we're not going to use the tools in these. Now you can, alternate if you want and use the tool inside the rose and it'll come out looking very pretty, I believe, but I'm not going to use them today. So what you're going to need to make these little beauties are petals. Depending on how tight you roll them or how you shape them will depend on how many petals that you'll need. You will need hot glue for this. So just be careful. I mean, I use hot glue all the time, so the heat from the glue doesn't bother my fingers anymore. But, if it does bother you, just be really careful. Or get those little fingertip things that you can wear that protect your fingers. So these are so super cute, and you can spray these and make these any color that you want. I did leave them the original color, and they've got a little bit of yellow in them, and then some pink and some white color. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So what you need to do first is glue all of your petals like this, and I'll show you how to do that. What you're going to do is you're going to take one of your petals and you're going to find the top. Okay, so my top is here, and I'm just going to fold the bottom over about 3/4 of the way. Okay, so if you can see here, I've got the bottom and I'm just folding it up to about 3/4 to the top. Okay, so about 3/4 mark, I'm going to glue it right there. And all I'm doing is just putting, you don't have to be precise with this at all, just put some hot glue there. It doesn't have to be pretty because you won't see it. And then just fold it up. Okay, and I've got almost all of mine done, but I'll go ahead and do these last 3 or 4 petals that I have sitting here. Okay, so you find the bottom and you fold that bottom up about 3/4 of the way. Oop, I got a little something stuck on my glue gun. Okay, and then you're just going to put some glue on it and then secure it. Find the bottom and fold it up about 3/4 of the way and glue. Okay. And one more here. Now I might not use all of these, but I can always use them for something else. All right, so now that you've got your petals, and one is like flying all over the place, now that you've got your petals all folded in pieces like this, okay, we can go ahead and start. You will need something to roll your petal around. I'm just going to use my paper piercer, but if you have a like a skewer or a chopstick or something like that, you can use that, or a paintbrush, whatever. Now all I'm going to do is roll this petal backwards onto itself. See how the bend of the petal bends in on this one? So I want to roll out, okay, because I want that bend to be at the very top so my petal folds over onto itself. So what I'm going to do is just start rolling it, and then I'm going to put a line of hot glue right along the bottom edge, and then I'm just going to continue rolling the entire piece. Okay, now on your middle, this is the middle, this is the actual bud for the rose, okay, your tip is not going to roll over, and that's okay. Now you will find that these petals, even when you fold them apart or fold them in half or 3/4 like we have, on the rosebud it's going to be too big. You're going to need to cut it down. So what I like to do is I like to do it right now so I know what I'm working with, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut around, follow the same indent that it already has, okay, and I'm just going to fold or cut it down about 1/4 of an inch, and I think on this one I actually am going to go just a little bit further, so maybe about 3/8 of an inch down. Okay, so I've just shortened this is all, but I still kept the little diagonal pieces. See, I don't know if you can even see that or not. but the way that the angles are, I did keep that. Now, if you don't want to, you don't have to. Just cut it in hand, cut it apart. It's no big deal. You're not really going to see it anyway, but I just did that because it's just easy to follow the diagonal already. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do a little bit more work on this bud. So we're going to need to put a couple more petals on it. So I'm going to take another one, okay, that I've already folded in half, and notice how on this one it curves in. Okay, you can see that it curves in. We're going to use that to our advantage, and we're going to place it so that that curve is going to be facing out. Now, I also like to start the petal slightly above the bottom here, because as you move along with the flower, you're going to have to keep raising up your outside petals so that they stay slightly above the petal before it, okay? And I hope that you guys can understand that. Okay, so I'm just going to put some glue on one side, and I'm just going to wrap it around, okay? And see how it's folded over onto itself? That's what you want. Okay, and then I'm going to put some glue on this side, and then just continue to roll. Okay, so now we have something that looks like this. Okay, and you can pretty much see the rosebud forming here. So now you see where it crosses itself right here. Okay, that's where we're going to put the middle of our next petal. So we'll take our petal, we'll find which direction the curve is, because we always want the curve to go out now. All right, so then I'm going to just place that the petal right in the middle of that where it crosses itself. Okay, and I'm going to do some glue. I'm just going to put a glue line along one side, all right? And then I'm going to roll that up, okay? And then I'm going to come on this side, and I'm going to place another line of glue, and I'm just going to roll that up, okay? Now you can really see how that bud is forming there. And that's basically the whole technique to this flower. You're going to do that the same each time. So let's go ahead and let's make this flower look pretty, okay? What I'll do is I'm going to assemble the flower. I'm probably not going to talk too much because I've showed you the technique that you need to use now. You can just follow along as I'm doing it. Okay, so now we have our finished flower. Now you notice how this petal sticks out a little too much on this side. It's just because that petal was a little misshapen. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to follow along the curve again. And I'm just going to cut that down a little bit so it looks a little more natural. All right, so now, just get them folded down. Okay, so now we have a little 3-flower cluster here. Isn't that pretty? I hope that you create this flower, and if you do, I'd love to see how it looks. So if you want to, you can always create a video response to this video. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode of Flower Friday, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.